What's going on, everyone? So the Washington Wizards are in a very interesting spot. They've kind of, accumulated these veterans like Infinity Stones, and they are expected to, after the Cam Whitmore trade, expected to potentially buy out one of these, if not multiple of these veteran guys. So they do have too many players on the roster. They have 16 guys, but they do have Justin Champagnie, who is the brother of Julian Champagnie over on the San Antonio Spurs. He's on a non-guaranteed deal, but they've kind of liked him. He's young, right? Like they might want to kind of keep him around. You got these players in CJ McCollum, Khris Middleton, as well as Marcus Smart. And the thought is that all three, if not, at least one or two of those guys are going to want to go to contenders. So they might be looked to bought out. Now, why wouldn't Washington try to trade them? One, they've already kind of gotten their assets and accumulative in that. But they're on, all three of those guys are on just overinflated contracts that they're not going to be able to really trade. Like, how many teams are going to be trading for like Khris Middleton and his like $30+ million and so on and so forth, CJ McCollum and stuff. Like, teams aren't really going to be trading for that, especially under the new CBA. And all three guys are expiring contracts. It's kind of like, let's just kind of get off the money now, get them in a buyout, kind of negotiate, save some money, and we're in some good shape, right? And Washington is a young team that's going to want their young guys to get opportunities anyway. They're not going to want to have a bunch of veterans out there kind of taking all the minutes from the young guys. Washington, especially guys like Cam Whitmore that they just got, they're going to want to have, Khris Middleton out of the way, Marcus Smart out of the way to let him play those positions, kind of just go out there and hoop. And hey, Whitmore, just be you. Kind of sucks because I really wanted the Lakers to get Cam Whitmore. There was a couple moments where it looked like the Lakers might have, but Houston was clearly doing everything they could to not send him to the Lakers. And just in West, I think, and look, if we're being honest, Cam Whitmore going to the Wizards, probably the best thing for Cam Whitmore, right? So, I think it was a fair for all sides. Just sucks as a Laker fan because I would have really loved Cam Whitmore. But I want to talk about, in particular, Khris Middleton in this video because one of the things that the Lakers could really use is kind of that wing depth, that 3-and-D wing depth. Khris Middleton is a guy that, via trade, I wouldn't want to touch, right? But via a buyout where you're signing him on a vet minimum, I think would be brilliant. The biggest problem with Khris Middleton, which is the same kind of problem with really all of these guys, is the lack of health. Right, Khris Middleton has just been decimated by injuries year after year after year after year. So he's not a guy that I would look to bring in to be a starter, right? Like, I would still look to trade for an Andrew Wiggins, so on and so forth. But like, again, let's say you trade for an Andrew Wiggins. Just use him as an example. Let's say you do Gabe Vincent, Rui Hachimura, and Dalton Connect, right? Boom, you land Andrew Wiggins, right? Well, then now you still could use some wing depth, right? Well, Khris Middleton can slot in player 2. He can slot in player 3. Bring him in. Again, he's probably going to want to go to a contender. He's probably going to want to go to a team that's trying to win and kind of putting the pieces together. I really do think that this buyout thing is going to be kind of the new norm under the new CBA because teams aren't going to be lining up to go and sign or go and trade for these guys. They're going to wait and see if they can sign them. And some of these teams want to, buy these guys out, get off some money, save some money because you're not going to get assets for them anyway. Just kind of be done with it all, right? Like, and it's just a win-win for all sides involved. I really do think that this is, like, I wouldn't be shocked if as soon as next year, we talk about like, free agent signings, trades. Who are the buyouts that, are going to be on the market that teams that, these veteran teams can sign? I think it's going to be kind of this other pool that's there that wasn't really there. Like, guys got bought out and stuff, but it wasn't like as common as it seems like it might be, particularly starting this offseason. I don't think that's a coincidence. I think a lot of that has to do with the new CBA, if not all of it has to do with CBA. But, I look at a Khris Middleton, I wouldn't look for him to be your starter. Right, I'd look for him more in, like I said, that backup role. They could slot in at the 2, slot in at the 3. You're talking about a guy that's 6'7" in size, but he's also a veteran. Right, he'll be 34 this August. Right, you're not looking for him long term. You're not looking to sign him for the next 4 or 5 years. But he's a guy that has won championships, won a championship, has been there, done that. Was second, third best player on the Giannis Bucks team, right? Drew Holiday was pretty good. You could make an argument out of the way for those guys. Many people put Khris Middleton as their second best player. I'd put Khris Middleton as their second best player also. But again, a guy that has the versatility, shoot the basketball, score the basketball, defend multiple positions, right? I just think he'd be a really good, solid bet. The days of him being, the second or third best player on a contender, are probably long behind him. But him being the 7th guy off the bench, you're probably a really good basketball team, right? Because he is still a really good player. He still averaged last year 12 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists while shooting almost 78%, or sorry, 47.5% from the field. I was going to say 74%. That would be insane, right? Go trade for him at that point. But yeah, again, you're not trading for Khris Middleton. You're looking for him. He gets bought out, signs with the Lakers, right? And then you kind of solve some of your wing depth issues. It just gives you that savvy vet that can come in, play a role. The injury issues are definitely still a concern, of course, but they're not as big of a concern because you're not looking for him to play as big of a role. One, you're not looking for him to be a starter, and he's so cheap. It's low risk, high reward. You just you're looking for him come in, play a role, play your part. You're going to get minutes, try to stay as healthy as possible, please. Hey, can you at least give us, 60 games and then be healthy come playoff time? And then you're in shape, right? Again, not everybody's going to be a superstar. Sometimes you just need those quality kind of role guys and rotation guys. But again, the health issue's kind of been a big thing, right? The last time he played 70 or more games was the 2018-2019 season, in which he played 77 games, and actually the year before that played all 82. But since then, since the 2018-2019 season, he's played 62 games, 68 games, okay, 66 games, all right, 33 games, 55 games, 37 games. So it's like he's dropping. 2 out of the last 4 years, right, or 5 years, so basically 40% of the last season, right, for going off of shooting numbers, right, basically 2 of the last 4 years. So 50% of the seasons he's played the last 4 years, he's played 30 games, right, or 37 and 33, in the 30s. Talking 30% of the season, right, like a third of the season he's playing. It's not good. It's not something that that you can really count on and rely on, right? But again, he is a guy that, when he is healthy, does a lot for you. Can make plays for himself, make plays for others, rebound the basketball, shoot the basketball, score the basketball. Right? He kind of gives you a lot of what this team could really use, especially at the wing position. Right? Gives you another kind of Andrew Wiggins type of player. I think Andrew Wiggins at this stage of their careers, I think I'd take Andrew Wiggins over Khris Middleton, but kind of like, if you're going from Andrew Wiggins as your starter like a Khris Middleton off the bench, you're in pretty good shape, right? You're probably, again, a very good basketball team that has good depth, good versatility, good all of that. Especially if you're stacking up these buyout guys like Infinity Stones, right? Like I mentioned earlier with Washington, I'm more than happy to do that and just bring in these guys that can have a real impact for a team. But what can Khris Middleton do? What did he do last year? Well, he was between Milwaukee and Washington. His stint with Milwaukee was better than his stint with Washington, but I want to kind of go over the overall numbers and then I'll kind of break down the others. So, played 37 games, started in 21 games, played 22.8 minutes per game between those two teams, 9.1 field goal attempts, shot 47.5% from the floor, on 3.6 3-point attempts, shot 36% from three-point range. He is a career just under 39% three-point guy. So, again, can he kind of get back to that? You got to think he's going to be playing alongside LeBron James, Luka Doncic, Austin Reeves. Right? He's probably going to get some insane looks, right? Looks that he's never gotten in his career. So that'd be really good for him as far as maybe getting his three-point percentage back up. But even 36% isn't terrible. It's kind of roughly what league average was last year at 3.6% or 3.6 attempts. 2-point range. Shot 55% on 5.5 attempts. EFG of 54.6%. Shot 85.7% from the free throw line on 2.3 attempts. We'll round up 4 boards, 3.7 if you want to be exact. So 4 boards, 4.1 assists, a steal, half a block, and 12 points per game. Like I said, his stint with Milwaukee was actually better than his stint in Washington. Real quick to kind of go over that. 23 games in Milwaukee compared to 14 games in Washington. 7 games started for Milwaukee compared to all 14 games with Washington. Averaged 23.2 minutes with Milwaukee, but 22.1 minutes with Washington, which I think is funny because he started in Washington and actually played fewer minutes than him coming off the bench in Milwaukee. But he took 9.2 attempts in Milwaukee compared to 9 attempts, so basically the same number of attempts, 51.2% in Milwaukee, 41.3%, so almost 10% better overall in Milwaukee. And that really stemmed from the three-point shooting. Khris Middleton shot 27.7% from three-point range on 3.4 attempts with Washington. He was 41% from three-point range on 3.7 attempts with Milwaukee. All right, so if he can get back to that 41%, Lakers will be in really good shape. Shot 58.4% from two-point range compared to 49.4%. EFG of 60% compared to 46.5%. Shot 84.8% from the free throw line, 86.8% from the free throw line with Washington. So actually better on 0.7 more attempts. Reboundings were exactly the same, 3.7, 3.7. The assist, he actually had one more assist in Washington or in Milwaukee than he did in Washington. 1.5 steals. He actually had more steals in Washington, almost double than he did in Milwaukee. Half a block in both places. 12.6 points in Milwaukee compared to 10.1 in Washington. I don't hate it. If you can get him, like I said, on a buyout, do it. I wouldn't trade for him or anything like that, but if you can get him on a buyout, absolutely. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. So enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.